Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the 13th Annual Barbados Ball, and thank you for being part of this fundraising event. And before I talk about the event, just on a personal note, I just want to say how honored I am to be here this evening. My father, John Harewood, would be very proud, and I think he's proud that I'm here. Unfortunately, he could not be present this evening, but his brother, my uncle Glenn, is here. One thing my dad did when we were growing up in Ottawa, which is where I was born, was he tried to instill in us an appreciation for the history and also for the culture of Barbados. He talked a lot about the political culture. He talked a lot about the music that he grew up with. He talked a lot about the values that were instilled in him by his parents, my grandmother and grandfather. He talked about the appreciation that Barbadians have long had for education. That was something that was very, very important to him. He talked a lot about comportment and the way in which one carries oneself as also being something very important. That idea of being dignified in the way in which you conduct yourself. So I have a healthy appreciation for Barbados, although the one thing my father did not manage to instill in me was an ability to speak like a Bajan, unfortunately. So I will not be inflicting my Bajan accent on you this evening, and you can be very grateful for that. But I'm certainly looking forward to what promises to be a delightful evening. We have tremendous entertainment. We have some very fine speakers as well. We're going to be honoring one of the greatest Canadians. She was actually voted one of the greatest Canadians a number of years ago. She is going to be honored tonight, so we have much to look forward to. Now, the funds raised tonight will be used for scholarships to deserving youth through the John Rollick Memorial Scholarships to fund commitments to the Sick Kids Caribbean Initiative, the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Barbados, and other worthy causes the BBCA supports. Now, to date, we have donated over $250,000 to these causes, and we thank you most sincerely for your support.
We also pray for island nation Barbados, celebrating its 50th anniversary of independence. We give you thanks for all the ways you have blessed and guided our nation. May you continue to bless the Governor General, Prime Minister, Leader of the Opposition, all members of the House and Senate, the judiciary, and all who serve public office. Lord God, continue to bless our nation with honorable industry, sound learning, and unwavering faith. Enable us to love our country, not in word only, but in action and truth. Bless us this evening hour. Bless the food we're about to eat and the hearts and hands who've prepared it. Give us grateful hearts always, and may we be mindful and responsive to the needs of others. In your name we pray.
And there's more to come tonight as well. Performing tonight is Red Plastic Bag, RPB, and Edwin Yearwood, two Calypso Kings, all the way from Barbados. Both will be on stage with Toronto's big band New Generation, featuring our own Susan G., a top Calypsonian from right here in Toronto, and they promise you great and lively music to help you create more wonderful memories of Barbados. Now, before we welcome our speakers to the stage, I can assure you that their speeches will be brief. It's important that we thank our sponsors for their generous support and extend courtesies to the representatives of the governments of Barbados and Canada bringing greetings tonight. So thank you to our presenting sponsor, RBC Royal Bank. Thank you to our gold sponsor, Scotiabank. Thank you to our silver sponsors, Dipper Induca Canada Limited and the Barbados Tourism Marketing Incorporated. A thank you also to the donors, to the live and silent auctions, the raffle, and also the door prize. The names of all donors are listed in the live auction brochure and on pages 60 of the program book, where you will also see the names of those who supported this event, who either bought tables or advertising space. And last but not least, thank you to the volunteers who have put together this great evening. If you are a volunteer, can you please stand up and be recognized? Put in a lot of work. All of the volunteers, thank you very much. Thank you all for your efforts this past year. Let's welcome to the stage right now our first speaker. He is Mr. Joel Aline, President of the Barbados Ball Canada Aid.
Ladies and gentlemen, High Commissioner Walks, Consul General Ben, and all our honored guests. I have to say that tonight's theme warms my heart, celebrating 50 years of independence, celebrating Barbadian pride and industry. Because as a young boy 50 years ago, words spoken by our first Prime Minister, L.R. Barrow, rang true then as they do now. In December 1966 at the United Nations, he said Barbados would be friends of all, satellites of none. And he said that in a time when the world was in turmoil, as if it isn't today. Cuba and Russia flexing their muscle not far from us in the Caribbean and South America, and Britain and the United States positioned on the other side of this Cold War. But 50 years ago, we broke that trident and established ourselves as an independent nation. We achieved independence. We obtained the ability to govern ourselves, feed ourselves, create our own destiny. And to have a leading education and healthcare system that both of our political parties aspire to and support. And to be a voice of reason in global affairs. A country, Barbados, that is today a leader amongst developing nations. 50 years later, we celebrate this nationhood, not only in BIM, but across the diaspora, and indeed, right here in Canada. With this theme in mind, I am pleased to welcome you here tonight to this, the 13th annual Barbados Ball. This ball has grown over the years, and in no small order. That's been due to the efforts of the Board of Directors, who I'd like to give a shout out to, and the Ball Committee. But tonight, I'm going to use the opportunity that I have here in front of the microphone to center out and to thank one person in particular, Hugh Graham. And I hope somebody has a lasso on him and brings him up to the stage for me, please. I'm doing this now because Hugh controls the program and would veto such recognition if he could, being modest in so many ways. Hugh, a man of strong character, not only leads the ball, but also, through his efforts, established our foundation through which we can direct our charitable work. I have to say that Hugh's vision, his leadership, his stewardship, and direction is without equal. And I'd like him, Hugh, to accept a small token of appreciation from the board of the Barbados Ball.
Sorry, man.
I knew you wouldn't let this happen if you knew it was on the program. So you can just say thank you and I'll close.
I think all I should say is thank you, because as Joel said, if I knew, it wouldn't happen. But in any event, I am most appreciative of this recognition, and perhaps it will help the headache that I've been dealing with all day to go away. So thank you again. What's in here, a bottle of wine? Wine. Good stuff. Thank you.
So sorry to hijack the program and do that right in the opening remarks, but as I said, Hugh would have vetoed it completely, as he has done in previous years. So ladies and gentlemen, I just hope that you have an enjoyable evening, and welcome to the 13th Barbados Ball.
Were you home at Independence Time?
I was a child in school.
And so what do you think? I mean, 50 years is a milestone.
Of course it is.
And what about you, Tracy?
I was nowhere near born. I wasn't thought about, nothing. But I think it's an amazing night. The one little dot in the Caribbean where when I moved to Canada, nobody knew what Barbados was. They always thought it was some part of Jamaica. And now, because we have people who are exported across the world, like the artists that we're having today, that puts us on the map and everybody knows where Barbados is, who we are. And so it's a great thing that 50, which is still young, that we have such a brand across the region and across the world. So congratulations.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So what would you say to the Barbadians in Barbados on this great occasion?
Well, having moved back to Barbados, I think that for our 50th anniversary, we're going through a lot. We're going through so much. And I really think it's time that we need to get together, recognize where we came from, what we can do going forward. We can do better, greater, bigger. And we just need to work together, and that's the problem. I think that we're moving away from that, becoming more selfish, more immediate things have to happen right away, and that's not a tradition of Barbados. It's a village, and we work together, and we continue to do that way, we can just be better.
Ladies and gentlemen, please now welcome Mrs. Kim Mason, Regional President for the Toronto area for RBC Royal Bank.
Good evening. It's an absolute honor and a privilege to be here with all of you tonight celebrating the 50th year of independence for Barbados, which is a significant milestone to be sure, and it's wonderful to see so many people here celebrating. I will say that Barbados for me also represents two milestones in my life. The first one being I visited Barbados with my husband, who's here with me this evening, 24 years ago on our honeymoon. And we loved it so much, we decided that we would have to go back one day. So 2.5 years ago, we went back. And it was while we were there, we'd rented a home on the south coast along with our family. And while we were there, I found out that we were coming back to Ontario. We were living out on the east coast of Atlantic Canada at the time. And I had my very first conference call with my new team from that home in Barbados. So wonderful milestones and lots to celebrate, and certainly holds a special place in our heart. And very nice to be here with all of you tonight. Aside from the excitement of celebrating a new career while we were there, what we also really enjoyed and experienced was the hospitality, the genuine warmth, the beautiful countryside, and the warm welcome that was extended to us by the Bajans. And aside from our love for the rum punch, we really did love it enough that I'm sure we will find our way back there again because it truly was a magical vacation for us. RBC's history in the Caribbean, and specifically in Barbados, goes back a very long way. In fact, we established branches in Barbados and other parts of the Caribbean before we opened branches in parts of Western Canada. And some of you may know the history of RBC, but we started back in 1864 in the Merchants Bank of Halifax. And there were some very entrepreneurial individuals at that time that decided that they wanted to open up trade with the Caribbean. And that is how we actually started our presence in the West Indies. By 1914, our international network included Barbados, and as we added branches in all major trade centers in the Caribbean, RBC continued to offer valuable facilities for promoting trade. By 1996, RBC had consolidated its operations with 1,200 employees in the Caribbean, and today we have a presence in 17 countries and territories across the Caribbean, serving over 1 million clients, I'm very proud to say. And these strong ties between our nations, thank you very much, thank you. These strong ties between our nations are maintained so well by organizations like Barbados Ball Canada Aid, and it was nice to hear Joel recognize Hugh, but also to talk a little bit about Barbados Ball Canada Aid. And I'd like to take this opportunity tonight to recognize the wonderful work that Barbados Ball Canada Aid does in Barbados and here in the GTA, where almost 15,000 Barbadians call Toronto home. And as well as organizing an event as amazing as this tonight, they support education for youth of Barbadian heritage. And this is one of the reasons why we wanted to be presenting sponsors and associated with this event tonight. RBC believes very strongly that all youth have a chance to achieve theirs someday, and it begins with education, and certainly education is an enabler to helping them achieve that. So on behalf of my many colleagues from RBC who are here joining me this evening, which includes Rob Johnston, our head of Caribbean Banking, along with his wife, Angela, we are very happy to be here, and I would just like to take a moment to thank the event organizers and congratulate them on a wonderful event, and also to commemorate this Golden Jubilee. And I'd also just like to thank all of you for choosing to be here with us tonight celebrating, and I hope you have an enjoyable evening. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Oh, great. So what greetings would you like to send to Barbadians on this occasion?
Many. As you know, maybe you haven't noticed, but I'm wearing my Queen's College pin. So that is the school I went to. So I wore it. I've been keeping it in mothballs for many years. So I wore it tonight in the hopes that somebody would recognize it. In any event, as you know, I was born in Barbados, and I came to Canada when I was 13 years old. And I still have a large number of relatives there, including my dear cousin Billy Miller, who retired as Minister of Foreign Affairs just some years back. And as you know, we come from a family that has been very active in the politics of Barbados now for several generations. As a matter of fact, we have 4 generations of members of Parliament in our family, which I think is quite an achievement. And even now as we speak, I have a cousin in the House of Commons whose name is Frank Bayliss, and he is the son of Gloria Clark, so it's his grandmother and my mother were sisters. So it's, Barbados is a lovely place, and I've made it my business to love its history. And if and when individuals such as yourself ask me what made me Ann Cools, what made me me, I always say my British Caribbean upbringing, my Barbados education, and everything that I am, I learned to be in Barbados.
Please now welcome Ms. Selina Caesar-Chavannes, the Parliamentary Secretary to the Prime Minister of Canada and Member of Parliament for Whitby.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I first want to thank you for inviting me here this evening. Unfortunately, the Prime Minister could not attend, but I do want to bring greetings on behalf of the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, my colleagues, Frank Bayliss, who is with us here this evening, and the entire Government of Canada, and to say congratulations to each and every one of you, the organizers of this event, for a very successful event. As a woman of Caribbean descent, I was born in Grenada. It brings me great pleasure to stand here in front of you and bring greetings on behalf of the Government of Canada. And I do so knowing that the Caribbean diaspora, and in particular the diaspora from Barbados, has contributed tremendously to the fabric that creates Canada, that creates our multicultural and our diverse strength. And one of the things that this government really prides ourselves in is understanding that we are strong because of our diversity, not in spite of it. And we take pride in being able to come to rooms like this and celebrate with each and every one of you, no matter what our political background, no matter what our cultural background, no matter what our racial background is. And so I say congratulations again for all of the work that you do, not only here in Canada and in this community, but also in your homeland of Barbados. And on a personal note, I would like to also thank Hugh Graham, who has been a very special person in my life over the last number of years, has really contributed to some of the successes that I've had in my career. So that's my connection with this organization. And to also extend a very warm and heartfelt congratulations to Senator Ann Cools, who is a trailblazer. And in order for me to be here in front of you, addressing you as the parliamentary secretary to our Prime Minister, we needed women who came before us. We needed women who led before us, who cut down the trees in the path and blazed the trail so that I could be here. And so to you, Senator Cools, I offer my heartfelt congratulations and gratitude for your friendship. And ladies and gentlemen, I thank you again, and have a wonderful evening, and keep doing what you are doing on behalf of your country and on behalf of this country. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, Premier. It's wonderful to have you with us.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
So welcome. And I don't know if you know that this ball today is the official launch of the celebrations in Canada for Barbados' 50th anniversary. So what greetings do you have to send to the people of Barbados?
Well, I want to say congratulations on 50 years of independence. I want to congratulate the Barbados Canada Foundation for this great event, but more than that, for bringing the community together and strengthening the broader community by the work that you do. So thank you so much.
I have a question for you. Have you ever been to Barbados?
I have.
Wonderful. So where have you been?
You're going to ask me. Crystal Cove? Yeah. Crystal Beach, I think it was. Yeah. Crystal something. It was a while ago.
Oh, so you're due for another visit, right?
I am totally due for another visit. It was a beautiful. It is a beautiful place. And as I said earlier, my mom was born and raised in Nassau, and so I have tried to go to a number of the islands, and it's wonderful to be here with the community tonight.
Finally, please welcome Her Excellency Yvonne Wachs, the High Commissioner of Barbados to Canada.
Thank you, Adrian. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's very nice to be here with you on this joyous occasion. And I want to bring greetings from Barbados and from the government of Barbados and the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister could not be here. I know that you had asked him to be part of this occasion, and he has asked me to give you his best wishes and not to think that he has forgotten Canada, because he will try to be in Canada later this year. But because of the many activities for the 50th anniversary, he's very confined to a number of things that, were maybe placed before him that prevented him from being part of this event this evening. So at least accept his apologies, and I give you his blessings. And let me just say that tonight, of course, while we celebrate Barbados Ball Canada Aid, in this event, we are also celebrating the 50th anniversary of Barbados' independence. What your organization is doing from year to year for Barbados and Canada cements the values and virtues that are necessary for us as a people, not to be stymied by our size, but to recognize that we have the capacity to move Barbados forward and to make sure that it is one of the greatest countries in the world. Yes, let us applaud that. Thank you. choosing the theme Pride and Industry, celebrating 50 years of nationhood, is a fitting and patriotic tribute to our country. In reviewing your theme, I'm reminded that Barbados is fundamentally different from 1966. A quick glance of our advances in technology, in education, in health, in architecture, and a number of other areas, housing, you would recognize that that tells the story. Our Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Frundell Stewart, during his speech at the opening of the 50th anniversary celebrations on the 6th of January, he challenged Barbadians at home and abroad to look backward, inward, forward, and upward. And this is a clarion call for introspection, for the Prime Minister reminded us that through the years, Barbados has had its ups and downs. However, our footsteps had not faltered or wavered. Rather, we have confronted our challenges and kept a balance in our responses to those challenges. In your organization, you have kept the faith for 13 years, and I urge you to recognize that your success cannot be maintained without pause and quiet contemplation. As Barbadians, we have much to be proud of. You at the Barbados Ball Canada Aid have been stalwarts in giving back to your community and humanitarian causes, and particularly with donations to the John Rollock Memorial Scholarship Program and the Sick Kids Caribbean Initiative. And I appreciate that you have done a lot to make the name of Barbados a source of pride and industry. And Barbados is blessed by your resourcefulness and resilience. And I want to ask you to keep on amid all the even international challenges, and right here in Canada, that you can do so much, not only to make yourself proud Canadians, but proud Barbadians. And I look forward to seeing you in Barbados later on in the year for the 50th anniversary. And if you can't be there, we are going to be continuing here, the Council General in Toronto, and I in Ottawa, trying as much as possible to bring a number of activities to you. So thank you for having me, and I wish you a great dinner, and for the rest of the year, have a good time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, High Commissioner. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your indulgence. Please let us give our speakers, all of our speakers, a round of applause. A reminder that the raffle will close at 9:15 p.m. and the silent auction will close at 10:30 p.m. And just before I wish you a good dinner, I wanted to say that over the last 50 years, Barbados has contributed mightily to this world. Of course, we know about the many cricketers who have been produced by this small island nation. But we also should think about the literature that has come out of Barbados. I grew up reading George Lamming, of course, from Barbados. My father was a friend of Bruce St. John, so he was someone who was in the house. But here in Canada, we also have two fine novelists who've contributed not only to the literature of this country, but also to the literature, to world literature, and that is Cecil Foster, a fine Canadian novelist from Barbados, and Austin Clarke. And some of you might know, or maybe I don't know, but Austin has been dealing with some illnesses recently, and he's in our thoughts tonight. He is someone who has made a tremendous contribution to the literary landscape of this country, of course, winning the Giller Prize for A Polished Hoe all those years ago, and we certainly wish him well, and we thank him for his contribution. A Barbadian, a very proud Barbadian, very proud Bayesian Canadian. So, ladies and gentlemen, may I now introduce you to the savory and sweet offerings of our own Chef Yellen. are you a partisan for Chef Yellen? Okay. And the Pearson Convention Center's Chef Emilio. Okay. Bon appetit, and please enjoy the music of DJ Jonathan Shaw while you eat, followed by dance performances by We Motion, dance troupe led by Marcia Williams. Dinner is served.
I'm Jerry Kreindler.
Oh, hi, Jerry. You have a Bajan accent. Were you born in Barbados?
Well, it would take a Bajan for one to hear one and understand that I is one. No?
Good afternoon, Jonathan. It's a pleasure to have you with us again.
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing great. And what about you?
I'm great. I'm enjoying this. This is really nice. This is really nice.
I know you've been to this a number of times, and I know you're in charge of the music, of the entertainment, that part of the entertainment. So what do you have in store for us tonight?
What I have in store is I'm going to showcase Barbados over 50 years. So the young, the old, and the not so old, and the not so young will have fun tonight.
We have Paul Yellen, of course, and Emilio. They're here waiting. And we're so honored to have them cook for us this evening. And as a token of our appreciation, we would like to present them with a small gift. So we're going to do Emilio first. And on behalf of the Barbados Ball Canada Aid, we would like to present you with this small token of appreciation. Drive with care.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And to Paul, thank you very much again for gracing us with your presence. And on behalf of the Barbados Ball Canada Aid, we would like to present you with this token of our appreciation. And you drive with care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you very much.
Now, each year at the ball, we recognize a Bayesian centenarian living here in Canada. This year, we will be honoring 3 of them: Mrs. Louise Cumberbatch Hunt, Ms. Mildred Franklin, and Mrs. Elise Headley. Born in Bel Air, St. Philip on September 21st, 1907, Mrs. Louisa Cumberbatch Hunt is age 108 and counting. 108 and counting. You know, when she was born, Theodore Roosevelt was still the President of the United States, right? 1907. Her granddaughter, Sharon Cumberbatch, will accept this award on her behalf. We're also celebrating Ms. Mildred Franklin, who celebrated her 100th birthday on May 8th this year. 100 years. Yes. And her grandson, Ian Beckles, will be accepting this award on her behalf. And with us here tonight is Mrs. Elsie Headley, also from the parish of St. Philip, born on December 15th, 1915. Her Excellency Yvonne Wachs, Barbados High Commissioner to Canada, and the Honourable General Hainsley Benn, Consul General for Barbados to Toronto, will make a presentation to the representatives and to Mrs. Headley, who is here tonight.
So, Ms. Headley, on behalf of Barbados Ball Canada Limited, this is presented to you on the 30th annual Barbados Ball anniversary. And of course, you're Elise Headley on becoming a member of the Centenarian Club on December the 14th, 2015. So it's really congratulations. And we really wish you many, many happy returns. And I want to give you the blessings of the government and the Prime Minister of Barbados also, so, and in this, our 50th year. So thanks for living so long.
Thanks, many happy returns.
Yes.
Happy returns for the day and for all who enjoyed it.
Yes, we all enjoyed it.
And give thanks to all who helped me. And we rejoiced in my day, rejoiced in the fellowship, and all whom accepted it. All good blessings and prosperity to the world and to all who live in the earth. And the peace of God be with us all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Don't go yet. Don't go yet. Oh, and this beautiful bouquet of flowers. It's not heavy, yes. This next presentation is for Mildred Franklin, and this is her grandson who's going to receive it on her behalf. He's very lucky. I hope he will live to 100.
I hope so too.
And more?
I hope so too.
He thinks that it is in his blood, so that his DNA is there, so he's hoping that that will happen to him. So we want to say to you to wish her all the best and give her our blessings from Barbados and, of course, from Barbados Ball. And we are really happy that on this 50th year, we can celebrate in this way and for her to be a part of this exercise. So thank you for coming on her behalf.
On behalf of my family and my grandmother, I'd just like to thank everybody. It's a pleasure to be here and had a great time. Thank you.
Thank you. So you have to take this bouquet. on behalf of your grandmother.
Thank you.
Very beautiful.
Thank you very much.
This last one is for Mrs. Louise Combach. She will be 109 years old once life be spared in September. And I remember going across by her 2 years ago when she was 107. So I want to present this not only to her, I'm going to present it to her granddaughter and her caregiver. And I promise her that next time I present something, that I will send some kisses for her. So come.
Wow. That's a good excuse.
Dear. Thank you so much.
And the flowers.
Yes.
All right, that was for you. These are for her.
If she was here, I'm certain that she would gladly be receptive to your kisses. She truly is 108 and counting. Every day she thanks God for new life, and I really do appreciate and thank you for honoring her in this manner. Thanks again.
Now, it is because of the hard work and dedication of volunteers that organizations such as the Barbados Ball Canada can make a difference in the community, and it's important that our volunteers are recognized and celebrated. Tonight, Barbados Ball Canada Aid recognizes 2 volunteers, and I'd like to ask them to come to the stage. Mr. Donald McKinley, a board member who tirelessly pursues donors for the live and silent auctions and is a key member of the organizing committee, and also Miss Angela Giles, who has supervised our volunteers for many years and continues to lend her support. So please welcome to the stage Mr. Donald McKinley and also Miss Angela Giles. And presenting the awards are BBCA's President Joel Aline and the Barbados Ball co-chair Mary Rouse.
So this is Don McKinley, and this is on behalf of the board, and this is his Outstanding Volunteer Award to Don McKinley. And our other Outstanding Volunteer Award is to Angela Giles, Barbados Ball. Thank you, Angela. Thank you very much.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, bringing greetings from our gold sponsor, Scotiabank, is the Senior Vice President for Caribbean Banking, Brendan King. Mr. King.
Wow. Good evening, everyone. What a great evening it's been. I think I'm going to move to Barbados and live to 108. I think it's fantastic. Just a few words this evening. A little bit about the Bank of Nova Scotia in the region. I'm sure many of you know us. We started off in Canada in 1832, again with trade to the Caribbean being a very important part of our foundation. We would send the Caribbean wood and cod, and they would send us rum and molasses. So I always thought we got a good part of that trade. I'm honored to be here this evening and invited to this celebration of the Canadian Barbadian Fundraising Gala. This really is a splendid occasion infused with warmth and camaraderie, and I thoroughly enjoyed the lovely meal. Great food. On behalf of Scotiabank and personally, I commend you for your spirit and dedication toward raising awareness and your financial commitment that fosters educational development of youth from Barbadian heritage, as well as contributing to healthcare initiatives in Canada and Barbados. Over the 12 years, this noteworthy cause continues to have profound and far-reaching impact. Since inception in 2004, Scotiabank has been a proud partner with this charity. This adds to the numerous other philanthropic activities we sponsor in Barbados and across the Caribbean. Scotiabank takes great pride in doing this, as it's through these types of programs that we support higher learning and increased medical care across the fabric of society, both here in Canada and in Barbados, where many of you have such deep-rooted connections. Another common element we share as partners is that Scotiabank has a long history and strong presence in Barbados. We opened the main office on Broad Street in the heart of Bridgetown in 1956, over 60 years ago. We now have over 8,000 staff in the region, and we continue to be very committed to the Caribbean and its growth. I was in Barbados last week. Again, had a lovely meal and a lovely time with our customers and our staff. Over the past 60 years, it's through the support of the people of Barbados that allows our bank to thrive and evolve through many local and global challenges. The world's becoming smaller, with the pace of technology change accelerating and accessibility to resources increasing. Operating in an increasingly changing environment, our focus is on digital transformation and making it easier for our customers to do business with us. The proceeds from your efforts continue to create further possibilities for bright individuals to embrace change, rise to their potential, and make a difference wherever they choose to reside. As Nelson Mandela said, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. As well, through donations to healthcare, your contributions make a huge difference in helping sustain a higher quality of life while building healthy communities in which we live, work, and do business, be it here in Canada or in Barbados and the Caribbean. Tonight, I can confidently say Scotiabank shares your passion. As we navigate the changes of tomorrow, our priority continues to be the welfare of our customers, employees, and shareholders. Let's empower bright, young leaders and build strong, healthy communities to face the challenges of the future. In closing, I applaud you as you celebrate and commemorate Barbados' 50th year of independence. Congratulations for 50 years of progress, national pride, and great accomplishments. Here's to the next 50 great years. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Please welcome our final speaker from the Barbados Tourism Marketing, Inc., its chair, Mr. Alvin Jemmett, to the stage.
Thank you, Mr. Master of Ceremonies. Her Excellency Yvonne Waltz, Barbados High Commissioner to Canada, Honorable Hazel Ben, Consul General of Barbados in Toronto, Mr. Joel Allen, President of the Barbados Ball Canada Aid, members of the Executive Board, specially invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, it is a privilege for my wife Lydia and I to join you this evening at your annual ball. I'm also thankful for the opportunity to share with you some very important tourism information. According to the latest statistics from the UNWTO, international tourism arrivals grew by 4.4% in the last year. For the first time, the pace of growth in the Caribbean outperformed every major tourism region in the world, growing at 7%, much higher than the 4 to 5% predicted. At that time, I challenged the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.'s team to work with all the Barbadian groups in every source market in helping to move our visitor numbers at a rate never before thought possible, and they responded admirably. Barbados soared to a new milestone in 2015 as that year became the best producing year in the history of tourism arrivals to the island. Long-stay arrivals grew by 13% to a total of 592 long-stay tourism arrivals. This performance eclipsed the 2007, which was the previously best year held on record. The Canadian market contributed in a healthy way to this encouraging performance, registering a 13% increase in arrivals as compared with 2014. This increase can be attributed to the intensified marketing initiatives to drive awareness of the destination in the marketplace, coupled with increased airlift from Air Canada during the winter season, thanks for deploying this B777 on the Toronto route for the winter 2014-2015. We want to say a big thanks to the Barbadian diaspora, who we know contributed in a healthy way to this performance in 2015. In this, our 50th year of independence, two things come to my mind. One, we must be proud of our history as a people. And two, much more is expected of us as we look towards the next 50 years. Last year, we achieved a record number of visitors to the island, and this year we want to do better. Barbadians and friends, we need your assistance, and I'm asking for it. In order to assist in our 2016 objectives, we have worked extremely hard with our airline partners to make sure that we have the capacity to deliver such a result. I am thrilled to announce to this audience that Barbados will be on the receiving end of additional airlift in this coming winter season. Indeed, Air Canada will provide double daily service from Toronto commencing on the 19th of December on Mondays, Fridays, and Saturdays for the entire winter period. These specific rotations will allow us to enjoy an additional 42 flights or 5,000 seats. Like you, I see this as a definite sign of confidence in the Barbados tourism product and in our ability to deliver business benefits to our travel partners. You can be assured that we will do the utmost to ensure that the additional rotations are successful and become a permanent feature on the winter capacity for the destination. For those of you who have ventured here from Montreal, I'm also thrilled to confirm the return of the seasonal Air Canada rotations from Montreal on Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays for the winter, commencing on December 24th. A good Christmas present. As for the Barbadian family and friends, we launched this program in 2009, and we now have close to 4,500 members here in Canada. The Barbados Family and Friends program offers greater structure to our relationships with our diaspora, who essentially can now, in a more formal way, act as an extension to our sales force for the collective efforts. In soliciting interest in the program, we positioned ourselves to achieve a number of objectives, including the honoring of loyalty and patriotism with Barbadian communities in all of our source markets, to generate incremental business to Barbados, to increase hotel room bookings, to extend our sales force and maximize the marketing opportunities afforded to us. Our calendar for the rest of the year is an exciting one and a good time for you to return to your place of your birth. crop over in July, the Diaspora Conference in August with a big beach party and a ball, the Food and Rum Festival in November with the entire month being designated as the culinary month, the independence celebrations in November itself is enough reason on its own to visit Barbados, and not to mention the Run Barbados series in November, and to top all of that off with Christmas. We have proven that together we can make great things happen for our country, and I feel confident that we can continue to do so. So on the behalf of our tourism partners at home, our Minister of Tourism, Richard Seeley, the Director here in Canada, Peter Mears, and his team here, we want to thank you for your support, and let us continue to do all in our power to sustain the airlift that we have fought so hard for. I want to encourage you to enjoy the rest of your evening, and may God bless you. Thank you so much.
The Barbados Ball Award is presented to outstanding Barbadians residing in Canada for professional acclaim and/or community service. In keeping with our theme, and as we celebrate Barbados' 50th year of independence, tonight we recognize Senator Ann Cools. We recognize Senator Ann Cools for her outstanding work in community and social services with children and families. And ladies and gentlemen, please watch this video. And if I could just have your attention for just a couple of minutes, please, as we watch this video. Thank you.
In my life, as I've been living it, I have done the best that I could. And I will continue to do the best that I can for as long as I can.
And
I hope that makes sense.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks for this.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Senator Ann Cools. And presenting the Barbados Ball Award, Rob Johnston, Head of Caribbean Banking for RBC Royal Bank, accompanied by High Commissioner Walks, MP Selina Caesar-Chavan, and BBCA President Joel Aline, and also a very special person up here as well. Ann Cools' cousin is also an MP from the Montreal area, Frank Baylis. We cannot give sufficient credit to our sponsors. So thank you again to this presenting sponsor, RBC Royal Bank, gold sponsor. Thank you. Scotiabank. And silver sponsors, Dipro and Duca Limited and Barbados Tourism Marketing Incorporated. Thank you all for your support. And let's recognize a few others. First, on behalf of everyone here tonight who enjoyed the rum punch, did you enjoy it? You seem to enjoy it. A big thank you to Grant Morris for his mixology skills. Thank you, Grant. And in no particular order, thank you to Mr. Jerry Kreindler of Kreindler Law, Mr. Wayne Griffith, the Regional Vice President of RBC. Mrs. Harriet Thornhill, Vice President for RBC. Mr. Earl Gill, Vice President of Scotiabank. Mr. Phil Broom, Vice President retired of Scotiabank. Miss Lisa Skeet and Mrs. Yolanda McLean, Vice Presidents of QP 4400. Mr. Steve Curtin, the past President of the Barbados Ball Canada Aid. And also a big thank you to our parish ambassadors, Doncia Cumberbatch and Donegal Griffith. And also attendants, Olivia Sobers and also Jessica Parrish, and the Ministers of Culture and Sport and Youth. Thank you all. In addition, Dr. Barbara Treloff-Dean, past President of Barbados Ball Canada Aid. Miss Kim Gittins, again, another past President of the Barbados Ball Canada Aid. Mr. Hainsley Benn, Consul General for Barbados at Toronto. Mr. Ferdinand Gill, Consul for the Barbados Consulate here in Toronto. Mr. Peter Mayers, Director of the Barbados Tourism Marketing, Inc. Miss Doris Headley, a tireless ambassador for the Barbados Ball, who is responsible for filling many of the seats at this ball. And last and certainly not least, our volunteers. Thank you so much. So once again, thank you to all of our volunteers and donors. And now my job is done. Thank you to the BBCA for inviting me to preside over the proceedings this evening. It's been a great event. I had a fantastic time. And I just want to welcome to the stage right now from the Barbados Ball, co-chairs Mary Rouse and Hugh Graham. Thank you very much for indulging me this evening, and have a very good night. Enjoy the dancing. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. You've done a wonderful job for us this evening. And we want to really thank you for coming back for the second year in a row. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of a great evening. And we want to take the opportunity to thank you all. Thank the sponsors, RBC, Royal Bank, presenting sponsor, Scotiabank, gold sponsor, Dipro Induca Limited, and the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc., silver sponsors. Let's give them all a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. We'd also like to thank all the donors to the silent auction and the raffle. I was just told that we managed to raise over $4,000 for the raffle this evening, the highest ever. Thank you. Now, what I'd like you all to do is to top that with the silent auction. And you've still got a few minutes left. Mary?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. At this point, I want to say thank you to everyone who is here tonight. I also want to thank our wonderful volunteers who have done a wonderful job throughout the evening. And thanks to all, and we hope to see you all again next year. Again, thanks to everyone, and thanks to our volunteers.